Alright, it's time to squid up and ink out, because today we're talking about Splatoon 2. Hello people of YouTube, this is your Ken, the Yoshkin, and I'm here to chat your ear off about Splatoon 2. Today we're gonna go over all modes. And before I forget to say, because I know I can make some long videos, I have timestamps down in the description below and in the pinned comment for anybody who's on mobile. I know I can talk long enough, and well, also since it's the first video I'm making with my face around, tell me if you guys like this or not. Y'all want me to go back to the faceless voice, or do y'all want to see this mug? I doubt that is the latter, but you know. Anyway, so onwards. First off, we're going to start off with the story. So you can call this story a rehash from the first game, I guess. This game opens with you making your way to Inkopolis. Upon entering Inkopolis, you are immediately drawn to the big telly in the center of the square. These two individuals are Pearl, the one on the right, and Marina, the one on the left. These two are from Off the Hook and basically replaced what the Squid Sisters did in the last game, such as letting you know when the game has been updated and telling you about the stage rotations. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, they start telling you how the Great Zapfish was stolen. Again. Wait, what, they didn't put up any security or something? How did this thing just up and vanish? Well, this thing does have a dopey looking face, so they might have assumed that it went for some breakfast early in the morning. It's not like being gone really affects anything at all, so I can see why they didn't put up any security. It's okay, everyone. He just forgot his coffee in some dark alley. He'll be back any moment now. Nah, it's up to you to find that big old fish and bring him back. But more important news, Callie from the Squid Sisters has gone missing as well. I doubt that she's having a breakfast mishap, but who knows with these celebrity types. They tend to order some really complicated things when getting their breakfast, so it's not off the table. After they finish their announcements for the day, you'll notice someone with an umbrella over a drainage gate. Said drainage gate leads you to the main hub of the single player, Octo Canyon. Once there, you'll see the one with the umbrella is none other than Marie from the Squid Sisters. She then tells you that the Zapfish disappearance wasn't due to an early morning breakfast call, but those dreaded Actarians have stolen them once more. It's up to you, as Agent 4, to run and gun through Octo Canyon and retrieve the stolen Zapfish. Along the way, Sheldon from Ammo Knights will ask you to test some weapons for him. And you'll get messages from a mysterious individual that you'll never guess in a million years. Yeah, it's Callie. But how could this be? Has she turned over to join the Octarians? Is it due to the final Splatfest in the last game? Or is she just bored and wanted to take over the world? Nah, it was Hypnoshades. Somehow, DJ Octavio got them on Callie and got her to be a minion in his plans. So, the final boss is a fight between you, DJ Octavio, and Callie in a concert to end them all. During the fight, Marie knocks the shades off of Callie, and she soon hops back to the new Squidback platoon and starts singing that tried and true song to end the boss fight and finish the campaign. With a total of 27 levels, not including boss fights, you have plenty of time to learn the game's controls. Speaking of the controls, when I set out to do this review, I purposely went and tried out the motion controls. In most games, I default and turn off the motion controls whenever I can. But this time, I wanted to see if they were any good or not, to see if a non-motion control player, like myself, can be convinced to switch over. It took some time before it felt comfortable and all, and I wanted to give up and go back to the standard controls, but with enough practice and patience, it felt faster and more responsive than the standard controls. If I were to recommend anything, I'd say play through the story mode with the motion controls on. And by the end, if they still feel terrible, switch back to the standard controls. I honestly didn't believe I'd be saying this, but I prefer the motion controls over the standard ones. It feels like a hybrid between a mouse and a controller. With that said, you'll still need to use the camera stick, even with the motion controls, so keep that in mind. Alright, on with the controls. You shoot with the ZR button, you throw bombs with the R, you swim and climb walls with the ZL button, you jump with the B, you use your special by pressing in the right stick. This is a standard shooter but with a different button layout. If you don't like where anything is, you can always change it due to one of the system updates. Oh right, the stages. Let's get back to them. These stages feel
similar to levels from Mario Galaxy, with the way you enter into areas by landing into the zone, and the in-between transitions by jumping to the next area. The only difference is that you have a Super Soaker in your hands, and there's a squid ton more enemies between you and the goal. Along the way, there are a few collectibles in each stage. The first is the Sunken Scrolls. This gives a bit of backstory and world building to this game. You gain nothing in actual gameplay upgrades. If you're looking for those, you seek out the Sardinium. These, along with the squid ton of power eggs, can be used to upgrade your weapons in the story mode. Upgrades usually consist of inking up the fire rate and adding a squidding bit of power to them.
No, I'm not tired of these squid puns. I'm gonna squid in any I can ink of.
Alright, enough squidding around. There's one other collectible in the story mode. It's the food and drink tickets. I'll explain what these do when we get to multiplayer. Last but not least is the boss fights. Whether it's an oven, a samurai, reused content, or a shower head with an evil rubber duck, these bosses are all unique in their own way, and since you have to fight them with a specific weapon upon the first time you fight them, it makes these bosses a bit more memorable than just fighting them with any weapon that you choose. If you did want to fight the boss with a different weapon, you can choose a weapon, but you first have to beat the boss, and this goes for the stages with the weapon that's recommended on the first time. This campaign isn't really short with all you can do. It took me around 6 hours to find all the collectibles and beat the final boss. And with the replayability this game has to offer for completing all the stages with all the weapons, I believe it's worth a tryout if you're planning on picking up this game. Now, if you enjoyed the story mode, then you'll love Octo Expansion. Octo Expansion, to put it simply, is a challenge mode. A challenge mode with a small story stuck to it. You are an Octoling. You wake up with an old squid picking a fight with you. This old squid is Captain Cuttlefish. And it appears you have lost your memories before you got here, stranded here by someone or something. Anywho, if you're wondering why the captain isn't blasting you to squid them come, it's because you're unarmed and the fact that you were humming a certain song. So, with the captain in tow, you both make it down the subway until you reach a telephone. This telephone tells you you're in a place that's called Deep Sea Metro, and then starts calling you user 10,008 and says it knows a way to the promised land. Thankfully, the captain shortened your name just to Agent 8. Now, the way to the promised land requires 4 things. And only then will the way be open. Your job is to navigate this subway in search of the 4 things, so you can escape this place. While doing so, the Cap tries and get in touch with Agent 3, but instead gets in contact with Pearl and Marie from Off the Hook. This puts them in the mix somehow, but they can help. Marie's a whiz with computers, and if you fail a level too many times and just want to pass it, she'll trick the system into thinking you beat it. Now, Pearl is a loan shark. If you ever run low or out of CQ points, she'll give you some, but you'll have to pay her back, so don't get too low on points. While it is nice, but if you use them, I read that you won't be able to get some of the collectibles like the mem cakes, or a certain event won't be available until you pay back the loans or beating the levels legitimately. These levels are challenging, but not too difficult. With enough knowledge, you'll be able to beat them no problem. With a total of 80 challenges to squid through, you have your work cut out for you. Most of these challenges aren't too long, so it shouldn't take you that long to beat them. You can make it a bit more difficult by choosing the harder option when available. You'll earn more CQ points, that's about it. I mentioned mem cakes earlier. Those are earned by beating this stage legitimately. These cakes, when a set is complete, can give you new gear for when you reach Inkopolis. Alright, I get to talk about challenge modes now. I love challenge mode in games. This allows for the players that enjoyed the game to give it multiple playthroughs a bit of a challenge. This also allows the devs to knock players down a peg or two. Challenges like these usually make players think, if only just a little bit, on how they're gonna proceed. Making simple mistakes can get you killed, but it doesn't feel impossible. It's that feeling of challenge that makes you want to conquer it and shout from the rooftops, "Yeah, I beat this stupid challenge! Finally!" Okay, back to the story. With the collection of 4 things, Cuttlefish will ask you to put up a missing squid poster of Agent 3. Here's where things get interesting, because if you finish that poster, you can't change it later, so make sure you make it correct the first time. These things are starting to look very similar to a certain thing you might find in the kitchen. Oh well, it's not like it's gonna bite me in the octerior later. it's just gonna open up a portal to the surface, right? With the final thing acquired, the phone congratulates you on being the first participant to gather all of them and start constructing the things into one thing. You and the captain start to enter it, and now you realize that it's a blender and you're about to be a smoothie pretty soon. That is, until Agent 3 comes crashing in to save you. Fortunately, this fall makes them unconscious, but they did open up a way for you to escape. Alright, it's time for the final level. On your route to the surface, the phone starts acting weird, Cuttlefish gets squidnapped, and beats you to the elevator somehow. When the elevator starts moving, you see both the captain and Agent 3. But the phone is now a parasite attached to Agent 3's head and is looking for a fight. This fight isn't too difficult, but don't be caught off guard by Agent 3's dodge rolls. And be sure to dodge their specials too. With the defeat of Agent 3, you make your way to the surface to meet up with Pearl and Marina. You start to make your way to Inkopolis, but the phone, Commander Tartar, has one last surprise waiting for you. A giant statue of a human begins making its surface from underneath the water. This statue is no joke, with enough ink power to eliminate Inkopolis. As luck would have it, it needs 3 minutes to charge in order to destroy it. So it's now your job to stall this machine enough so Pearl can put a stop to it. The final boss is a solo turf war by inking up the statue with Marina's hyper bombs. This will stop it from getting its power from the sun, but you only have 3 minutes to succeed. If not, it's game over for Inkopolis. But there's no way we're gonna let this happen, since that was the entire point of going through those levels in the first place. Agent 8's dreams of the surface shall not be destroyed by a mere telephone. With the final blow dealt by Pearl, we save the world from a fate they probably never know nor care about, and this ends the DLC. Or I would say if there wasn't one other thing to talk about. If you complete all the stages without the help of Pearl or Marina, there's a secret boss you can fight. I would say this secret boss is challenging, but that wouldn't do it justice. This boss is unfair. So, this boss fight consists of you fighting Agent 3 again. This time, that certain song plays in the background. Agent 3 is a lot more aggressive than last time, and has some better moves too. So why did I call this boss unfair instead of challenging? Agent 3 has double your health per phase. They have homing bombs that seek you out. The bomb's blast radius is twice the size, so if you're in critical mode, you can die to bombs off camera. Agent 3 doesn't need to refill their ink unlike you. They have specials every 10 seconds to try to kill you. Once in the final phase, their fate looks bleak. They'll splat down to get the upper hand right before the kill. This boss is unfair, and I believe it's by design. You were once in the Octarian army. You helped steal the Great Zapfish. Agent 3 is only reclaiming what was once theirs, and they'll use any and all tricks to make sure they get back what was stolen. Do you get it now? You're the bad guy in this situation. Or it could be Agent 3 fighting their inner demons or something like that. Well, the text does say hero, so they probably look up to Agent 3 or something like that. This fight is so hard that as of the time of typing this out, I still haven't rebeat this boss for the video. I've been at it for 3 hours. But if you're able to beat this boss, you can show it off in multiplayer that you're the best Octoling on the block with the golden toothpick headwear. Funny enough, I beat this boss in less than 10 minutes after I wrote this out, so hang in there, there's a pattern. You'll beat it eventually. Speaking of multiplayer, this game has 2 different modes to play. The first one is the standard 2 teams duking it out between another. The second one is a cooperative collection and survival-based mission. We're going to be going over the standard multiplayer first. Oh, and before I forget, if you have the Octo Expansion, you need to beat it first before being able to select an Octoling. This is why I recommend just doing everything while you're down there so you won't have to go back unless you want to. If single player modes aren't your thing and you want to play as an Octoling, you're SOL. Speaking of gear, there are some gear you can unlock in both campaigns if you feel like sinking in time. In the Inkling story, if you complete it, you get the hero's gear. Well, at least a replica of it. If you were attached to a certain weapon in the campaign, you can unlock it by completing every stage with that weapon, and Sheldon will allow you to buy a replica of it. This includes bosses as well. For the Octoling story, Some are unlocked immediately upon buying the DLC. Most of the others are by completing memcake sets and talking to this dude over here. And the last one that wasn't mentioned is by completing the campaign. You can't use the ones unlocked in the campaign until you beat the campaign, so remember this. Alright, let's tackle the fun part and the main reason most people play this game. Turf Wars! This is the main mode in the game and basically is map control of the game. Whichever team has most of the map covers wins. Simple, but very fun and replayable. Just testing out new weapons to see if you can use them more efficiently than the others. It really doesn't matter if you're any good at shooters since the main objective is covering the main stage in paint. This mode is for those who want to kick back and relax after having a bad day. The only downside is that you only have this mode until you reach level 10. It can get boring if you try and level up as fast as you can to get level 10, so I recommend taking your time. Now for the other modes. These modes are only available when you're playing ranked. Ranked modes can't be played in regular battles, and regular battles can't be played in ranked modes. So you'll never get a ranked turf mode, and you'll never get a regular splat zone. I have already gone into depth on all of these modes in a video in the iCard on the top right of the video, so if you want longer explanation, please give those videos a watch. Alright, with that said, I am still gonna give a brief summary of each mode. Splat zones is domination. Tower control is escort the tower to the enemy's base. The same can be said about Rainmaker. Or maybe protect the president with a really powerful gun might be a better description. And Clan Bits? Soccer? Yeah, let's go with Nintendo Soccer. Each mode is fun and unique in their own way, especially Clan Bits. The difference between regular and ranked is that ranked is 5 minutes and regular is 3 minutes. Also, the maps change every 2 hours and so does the game modes for ranked. If in rank the teams are at a tie or if the current losing team has the hold of the objective, it will go into overtime until either one of the team pulls ahead or the winning team stops them. Both modes are fun to play, but if you have a buddy and you want to climb the rank ladder together, you will both need to be at least rank B- in order to team up together and climb up as high as you can. Hey, remember those food and drink tickets from the single player? Well, the food increases the amount of money and experience you can receive for 20 rounds. The drink ones I'll explain when we get to the gear. It's time for what you'll be shooting. It's time for the weapons. Weapons in this game come in sets of 3. Each has a main, sub, and special weapon. You cannot choose what can be in the set, so try to find one that you enjoy the most. There are a wide range of weapons this game has to offer. You have the standard auto-firing weapon, the precise and deadly chargers, the up-and-close and smush rollers, a bucket full of paint, a shotgun with a shield, a minigun, paintbrushes for those artsy ones, and dual-wielding full-auto pistols. Keep in mind, unless a weapon has a different shape, it's the same weapon, but with a different sub and special weapon, because there are variants of these weapons. Most sub-weapons are just a form of bombs, but some have other uses like shields that make a wall of ink to protect you. Now, the specials are really something else. While most of them are the weaker versions from the original game, some do feel really good. The inkjet makes people have to aim in order to hit you while you have a grenade launcher equipped. The baller mate turns you into a hamster with an explosive bomb in you. My favorite, the Tetanus missiles, allows you to target players from a distance. And the last one I'm going to talk about is the spirit bomb. Don't believe me? What else do you call a ball that someone is holding with one hand, floating off the ground, and needs the help of their friends to power it up? But it's actually called the Booyah Bomb, and it's very cool looking. You can complement your weapon set with the right gear though. Now for the stylish competition. You have 3 different types of gear in this game: headwear, shirts, and shoes. Don't worry, you are indeed wearing some sort of pants. Or maybe a skirt. Real men wear kilts! Alright, let's go back to gear. Each gear has a main slot that can't be changed, except outside of a few circumstances, and up to 3 sub-abilities. Each piece of gear has a number of stars next to its brand logo. These stars tell you how many sub-abilities can be put on a piece of gear. To put sub-abilities on your gear, you have to play online matches, and with enough points, your gear will randomly select ability. You can increase the chances of a specific ability by using the drink item. Some abilities are only about a third strength, so it's preferable to get all abilities the same on one set of gear. Meet Merge. This spike tier kit will allow you to reroll, scrub ability slots, and allow you to place specific abilities if you have enough ability chunks. You can get ability chunks in other modes by re-rolling or scrubbing normal gear for 2,000 coins. The special Splatfest tee is only 2,000 coins. The only way to get different main abilities is by using the phone app to get gear with different abilities, or by taking on Salmon Run. So, what is Salmon Run? Salmon Run is that competitive survival-based mode that most online shooters have nowadays. You and 3 randos must eliminate the Salmonian. While doing so, you need to collect golden eggs that they drop. Golden eggs can only drop from the boss type enemies. Playing this mode is akin to eating popcorn. You can't just stop at one. The more you play, the harder the levels become. Like most things in this game, the enemies are strange but fun to defeat. Most of the bosses will use one of the specials that can be found in other modes. And if you leave them to their own devices, they may end up ending both you and your squad. If you get downed, your teammate only has to simply ink you to get back up. The weapons you get are randomly given to you at the start of a new wave, so I hope you know how to use more than just a handful of weapons. They're also equipped with 2 specials that don't refill upon new rounds, so use them when you really need to. I think having the old specials here would have been a great move, because I can see Mr. Grizz holding more restricted weapons for his company and using them against the Samidians. This mode does have some unlocks after a certain amount of Grizz code points have been acquired. These unlocks are money, food, and drink tickets, ability chunks, and gear with random main abilities. Grizzco has exclusive gear that can only be attained in this mode, so be on the lookout for any that catches your eye. So, I've been praising this game for the last 20 odd minutes, but I do have my problems with this game. First off, the experience system, or as I like to call it, the win-loss system, because that's what exactly it is. This game rewards you by only winning or losing. Yes, you can be rewarded slightly for something else in Turf Wars, but that's so easy that I don't really count that as much. You only have to get 500 points worth of turf, so it's nothing special. You can do that with a charger by just misfiring all the time. Trust me, you'll get it. But if you're playing Turf Wars for leveling, which you have to do for the first 10 levels, you're restricted to win-loss only. This is because you don't actually want to use your experience increasers until you actually get to ranked, because that's the fastest way to rank up, is by using your experience increasers on ranked, playing ranked matches, hoping that you get some good teammates, or that you're just that good enough player that you can carry people and get out of here and take off to the races, to the moon, to the stratosphere with your rank. I don't like it. Not at all. It's one of the things that pulled me off of the first game when they increased the ranked system. Brief summary of the last game. On launch, many players, including myself, got to level 20 before the first weekend was over with. When enough people get to level 10, we'll release ranked. Ranked was really fun. Don't really have to go over it. It was a week later. Almost everyone was 10 plus in my lobbies. Period. Most people were maxed out at 20. So I was really, really happy that they added a level increase from 20 to 50. I might say, all right, time to bust out these ranks. It's showtime. And I figured out that, they're using the Splatfest approach from the last game. Wait a second. The Splatfest post is a win-loss system, which it is. You gain points if you won or lost, and based off of the amount of area you splatted for Turf War. If you got a knockout, you got like the maximum 10 points. So you had to win a lot of matches to actually rank up, and I thought this was stupid. Look, I don't play and compete in games online to make me feel like I'm just like everyone else. When I play online, I want to feel better than everyone else. I want to play better than everyone else. I don't want to be paid the same as my teammates if I did more work. And the inverse is also, if I didn't do as much, I shouldn't be paid as much in the game. The Splatoon devs probably thinks different. They probably were like, oh crap, I don't want people just getting to level 50, so we're not gonna do that. Yeah, we're gonna actually restrict them down. And I can see a reason why they wanted to do this. In the original Splatoon, there was nothing that really kept players playing around other than the gameplay. Gameplay was still fun. This game is basically Splatoon 1.5, just with a little bit more bells and whistles added to it. But the one thing they added to this game that made people actually want to grind, or that actually has a grind to it, is the gear system. They revamped the gear system. They now allow you to make perfect gear. Perfect gear is time consuming. Why on earth do I need 2 time consumers? I should feel like when I'm playing the game, alright, I finally got enough ability chunks for my perfect gear, but I'm so close to a level up. You know what? I'll play one more game. If I see it now and I get perfect gear, I'm just done. I'm about to say there's no point. The only plus side about actually getting to high levels, 30 plus levels in this game, is that they give you a Super Sea Snail, which are only given to you by Splatfest. Splatfests are events where they ask you a question, you like this over that, that over this. Speaking about that, they still actually have these Splatfests as of the time of doing this video. So even if you don't have any Super Sea Snails and you're below level 30, you can get some more until maybe the Switch actually ends, because I don't think they're making a Splatoon 3 on the Switch. Like, I don't think they're making a Mario Kart 9 for the Switch either, but that's something else. But back to perfect gear, like, why do I need 2 grinds? Why do I need to grind up levels? And not to even mention that they have a prestige system. I don't even know why people do that. Like, oh my gosh, I'm about to say, you have to have at least a month's worth of time in multiplayer alone just to have a star on your thing. You can have multiple stars. I've only seen 1 star on somebody at the most. It's been 1 star on like level 80. I'm about to say, ooh, that's a lot of time you put into this game. Really hope it's worth it. I just feel like it's a big time sink for almost no reason. Why does it take so long to level up? This game doesn't really have a reason. Unlike the last game where it didn't have really an end game to it, other than getting better at ranked modes, this game has perfect gear. Why? Now here goes another topic, amiibos. They changed this from the first game too. In the original game, you could use amiibos to get costumes too, but you had to unlock those costumes by going through single player content. In this game, you have to have the amiibo, obviously, and you have to reach level 10 and level. Then you can get the full outfit. At first, they'll only give you like the head or something like that. They won't give you the shoes or the shirt. So get to level 10 if you have amiibos, use them, you get exclusive gear. They're nice. The only downside for me about these amiibos are my Marie, unfortunately, the NFC chip probably broke and I no longer can actually use it. So if my save data ever deletes itself or something like that, then I can't get that back. And since there's no cloud save system for this game, because Nintendo actually saves your online data on your freaking game card instead of saving it to, say, like a cloud or their server, so they don't have cloud saves for this game. That's another negative thing that you could put on the pile of the level system. Alright, here goes the last point I have for this game. To put it simply, I believe any game that has a ranked mode should allow you to have voice chat. Now, I can hear some of you may say, but this is a kids game. Why should there be voice chat in a kids game? Now. Let me at least explain how I believe they should have implemented over the way they have it now. I'm not even going to explain it. It's so convoluted and stupid. I'm not doing it. Now, if you own the game, you already know that once you boot up this game, you are already locked into your motion controls, right? That's just a fact. Now, what if they did this with the voice chat? They had it in a menu and it was already off and everyone was muted purposely. If you had parental controls, unless you have it on the parental controls that you allow voice chat, then voice chat. If you didn't want to hear anybody, you go back in the settings and have everyone muted. Perfectly fine. I think that would have been a glorious system if they had it work that way. That way, the people who actually want to chat, talk crap, trash talk, and all that other stuff, right? They can do what they want. And the people who are like, no, I don't want my child actually talking on voice chat. There's strangers on there, yada, yada, yada. It shouldn't be on here. You just have the setting. We shouldn't restrict all to protect a few. If we give them a comfortable environment, this solves both of the arguments of whether we should or shouldn't have voice act. Well, that was everything I wanted to cover. The campaign is really fun. And it's the best way to actually start to learn how to get used to the motion controls. If you don't like them, just turn them off. That's how I played the game for the first 2 years. And this was the only time I actually got used to the motion controls. The multiplayer is really fun. Even if you don't like shooters, it can be a fun experience. And, well, the only downside about this game is the experience system in itself. I feel that it's way too slow, it's way too restrictive, and it makes you feel like you're not getting any progress at all. Every time I see that little meter go across the screen and it just goes up just a little bit, it makes my heart feel like it dies a little bit in the inside. Man, it just makes me feel like I should be doing something else. It's the only thing I don't like about games nowadays. It doesn't want to reward its best players with the best things. It just wants to reward people evenly, and it's not very fun. So, that's all I really want to talk about. Thanks for watching the video. You are indeed an awesome person. But this has been your Ken, the Yoshkin, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Oh, and for any of you guys that were actually curious, I don't know if you were, but the shirt I was wearing at the beginning of the video with this hat on, it had the word blessed on it. So, I found it. It was a cool shirt. So, well, see you guys later. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed.